Yeah.
It was 93 minutes long.
Yeah, and this one, surprisingly enough, is PG. And it was a decent movie, I thought, all in all. It had a great story to tell about the relationships between mothers and daughters.
Yes.
Which can transcend until today times, since this is a story that was basically being told long ago in the Scottish Highlands back in the day.
During Kings and Queens.
Yeah.
And how back in the days of the Kings and Queens that they had competition back like in Scotland for marriage to the princess from other clans. They had to prove their worth. And the one that won got the princess's hand.
Well, guess what? She didn't want that at all, did she?
No, she no. Fiery little redhead. If you're not real familiar with this movie, what'll probably set it off for you is if you've seen the cover or the poster for it, it was this really fiery red-headed girl, nothing but long red hair. So I mean, it was really deep, richly in red.
Yeah.
And she always carried a bow. So
you can't go wrong with a girl that carries a bow.
No, you can't. I go kill me some food. There you go. Alrighty. This one honestly could go out and kill your food.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, but, she was a marksman.
Yeah, and it had some tall tales of a kingdom, and you know everything you would expect from a nice Scottish tale. Yeah, I like Scottish tales.
Yeah, I mean, just in the movie, in retrospect, I mean, it had the story in itself that they had. They did have comic relief in there with the brothers. They were downright hilarious.
Yes.
And
mischief.
Yeah, and Dad too. He had his moments in there, and also definitely the tale between the mother and daughter. I mean, if you're sensitive, there are some tear jerkers in there.
Yes, there is. It'll be a tear jerker if you're really sensitive, or female. Would definitely probably bring a tear to your eye.
Yeah.
But you know, with the dad and the boys, that's the light side of the family. And then you had the conflict with the daughter and the mom, which was the more serious, tense moments of it. Yeah. There till towards the end, it's got lightened up.
Yeah. Well, and it was, you know, the whole thing that, well, Mom wanted, you know, her to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. And she, you know, she didn't want to have anything to do with it. She wanted to live her own life, and whatever happened, happened for her. And, I mean, and it happens today. I mean,
it does. It seriously does happen. I mean, moms want their daughters to grow up respectful and just, you know, be an actual woman when they grow up. Be a lady.
Yeah, and she was, I mean, no quotes intended, she was the tomboy. I mean, there's no doubt in that. She was...
Oh, yes. She was a daddy's girl, for sure. I mean...
Down to the red hair.
down to the red hair, matched her daddy, had her daddy's stubbornness, and all that. She loved being outside, she loved being in the woods, she loved shooting her little bow. Yeah. That, you know,
girls, that was a no-no for girls back then. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, they was supposed to grow up proper and primped, and you were a princess, you got to act like one. You know?
Yeah, I mean, as Disney characters go, Disney princesses go, I tell you right now, this girl kicked all the other ones' butts.
Oh, heck yes.
Well, maybe except for Mulan. You know, she's got that little karate stuff, so I don't know. That might be a little interesting one.
Well, I don't know. She might be able to pull some Chuck Norris stuff out when getting an arrow shot at her, but maybe that's what Disney and Pixar needs. Yeah. The Battle of the Princesses.
You know what? That'd be kind of cool.
Could be. So if you're working for Disney and you actually come across the Double D show, think about that.
Yeah, make it, dude.
Doubtful, but think about it.
Dude, make a video game like Street Fighter style and make it the Battle of the Princesses.
Yeah, you would definitely buy a princess game.
No, I'm not saying I would buy it. I'm not saying I'll buy the game, but that would be definitely interesting.
But yeah, so this is a typical Disney-Pixar animated film, and for me personally, it's everything Disney and Pixar.
Oh yeah, definitely.
With a little extra, because every animation they bring out, they always try to bring something new and different to the table. And I think with this one, yeah,
and it was a different story than your classical princess tale.
Yeah. Most of their regular princess tales are just, princesses. They really don't.
Well, the damsel in distress. You got the boy hero, and this one. I mean, sure they had some, I guess, princes, if you wanted to call them. They were
the three of them are the firstborn out of the four clans, because the princess was the fourth one, firstborn out of the main clan of the king and queen.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, I guess you could call them princes.
Yeah, well, they were almost like princesses.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, one of them acted like a princess.
Yeah, more like a prima donna.
Yeah, and then the other one, he should have been committed. He wasn't all there.
And the other one, you couldn't even understand a word he said.
No, but he was probably the best choice out of all of them.
Maybe.
To be honest, being a big guy myself. He was the best one.
Oh, there you go.
So, what do you think about the video?
The video quality being, I mean, it's a couple years old. Being 2012, I would still give it a 5D rating. I mean, you're looking at the Scottish Highlands with the green, lush fields and the woods and everything like that. They look beautiful.
Yes.
During the rain scenes, rain glistened. You could tell things were wet. It just looked magnificent.
Oh yes, I definitely give it a 5D rating on that one, just for the vibrant colors, the rich detail that they went into, even a princess's hair.
Oh gosh,
it flowed. It looked so natural.
Oh yeah.
And
all over the place.
Yeah, and the way they made the arrows fly, the action of the bow, which we know pretty much the way a bow is supposed to look when you.
Oh yeah, especially the close-up shot. And when she releases, being older times, they had the recurve or like a longbow.
Yeah. And
when the arrow was passing through, you could see the wobble from the wooden shaft. It moved exactly the way it should.
Yeah, they did an excellent job catching the motion.
Yeah, just attention to detail was amazing.
And yeah, so I mean that arrow animation alone was probably several hours worth of work.
Oh yeah.
But as it shot, you could see all the wood grains in it. You just seen all the flexibility. You even seen the fletching feathers on it whip back as it took off.
Yeah.
And then it was beautiful. It was very beautifully done. I mean, if you want to watch a Pixar from Disney and Pixar, this 3D movie is excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned that we watched it in 3D.
No, I don't think we did.
No, it is a 3D movie. We watched this in 3D. The list of equipment that we use to watch these movies is always down below in the description.
Yeah.
We put it in there every single time.
Yeah, that way it gives you the contrast of what kind of equipment we're using to watch it, and you can contrast it with what you guys have. I mean, I don't want to say my equipment's state of the art, but I think it's good quality equipment that we're using here. So
yeah, a little bit better quality than mine, seeing I don't have a 3D Blu-ray player
or TV. Or
my TV's 3D. It's just I just don't have anything hooked to it. It's a DLP. It's not the new LEDs like yours.
Yeah, well.
Yet.
You'll get there.
If it keeps going the way it is, I'll have it here real soon. But yeah, and overall the video is just awesome.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the sound in this one? The sound and the music.
Oh, the sound and the music. Oh, I give it a 5D rating just for the simple fact that like the video when they shot the arrows, you could hear the bow do the thong noise. You hear the whistle of the arrow as it flies through the air. You can hear the crack of it when it hits. Even in one part where she splits an arrow down the middle, you actually hear the wood splitting. The whole shaft, the cracking, the splintering, and everything. The horses, the way they when they ran and they breathed. I mean, everything just stood out, and the music, nice, gripping, aggressive, upbeat during those hard battles, but during those nice, quiet, soft tearjerker moments, they had that nice little subtle.
It's almost like a violinish almost.
Yeah, and they had the characters in the movie were playing the bagpipes, and it sounded excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind listening to bagpipes.
No,
they
no.
Are
I mean,
soothing.
some people don't like them. It just depends on probably the melody of the pipes. The ones that were portrayed in this film, I thought were excellent. Some of the Scottish folk song, like one of the first songs you hear, "I Touch the Sky," at the very beginning when she was riding the horse and shooting her bow.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs, actually. Very well done. She's a very well-known folk singer. I don't remember her name at the moment, which is bad on my part. Since you,
Shame on
I
you.
know, since you say I'm the movie guru, but
Yeah, I don't remember names worth anything. I look at the screen and I go, "Hey, that face looks familiar."
oh yeah, but
And then I ask him, and he tells me their name.
yeah, not always.
Not always.
I have to look it up sometimes.
But
But
better than me.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, like when the moments with the mother and daughter, there was like at one point where they flashed back and they showed the daughter was like playing and there was a thunderstorm and mom was singing this like another folk song or whatever, and they had music that was tying in with it. I mean, it was so beautifully done. I mean, you just
Oh, and how about that crack of that thunder in that
Oh, yeah.
scene? Oh, man, that kind of made me jump a little bit. I wasn't expecting it, and it was
Yeah.
just.
this is one of the, I mean, out of the recent Disney-Pixar or Disney period movies, this has got to be one of the better musically toned films that doesn't have the characters singing. I mean, this just has movies in it. I mean, a lot of times the Disney films have the characters out singing and dancing or doing whatever.
And the story that was backing it
Yeah,
was plenty. Even though, we forgot to write it down on our storyboard.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll give that a 5D rating too, because I was interested the whole entire time that I was actually watching it. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was just sitting there watching it. And if you ask me if something happened outside, I don't remember if anything happened outside while we were watching it.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear anything, and there's people out here working that are doing utility work, and we ain't heard nothing from them watching the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, this had you captivated the whole time because
Yeah.
it made you want to know what was going on and what's happening. Because I mean, when you first watch it, and the girl wants to change her fate, and she goes and finds a witch, and then magically, they turn the mom into a bear, and you're thinking, why in the world would they change her into a bear? And as the story progresses and you find out what's going on,
Yes.
it brings everything together.
Yes, you find out it's, I don't know, it might be an actual Scottish tale too. I don't know.
It might be. You never know.
I really don't get into too much into lore of anything,
Yeah.
because sometimes you can get into the lore of something and it's just so in depth that it'll take you forever to just get through it. And,
Yeah. Definitely.
I got time for other things.
Yeah, but as for the story itself, if you wanted to go that route, I definitely give it a 5D as well.
Oh,
I mean, it's a
yeah.
great story.
5D straight up for that.
Now, since this was a 3D film, we'll go over to the 3D depth of it. As for the film, it showed great depth. As you panned out over the Scottish Highlands, for the trees, seeing the castle in the distance as it brings you up closer for those kinds of shots. It was really well done. I don't think it was spot on. I mean, if you watched it, I think they have some ghosting in there, which, if you're not familiar with the term ghosting, it means there's like a shadow from the actual picture. Like if it was my face, you could see like a shadow of it from the side. I think there were some points in there. I think there was that in there. But as for the depth, I think it was great, but not exceeding my expectations, what I was expecting. So I just give it a 4D on that.
Yeah, I give it a 4D rating, just for the simple fact is there's a few points through there when they swung swords and you were right there, and it didn't reach out.
Oh, you're talking about pop-outs?
Yeah, pop-outs. They could have, I mean, when you seen the forest and everything for depth, you could see that it was an actual woods. It didn't look flat or anything. The one thing I did notice is those where they had like some rolling hills and everything, they kind of looked a little flat. They could have, popped them up a little bit more and pulled them out. But overall, I mean, it was an excellent 3D viewing of the depth of it. Yeah,
especially like shots when they were walking through the woods and you're like looking through the woods at the characters. You kind of get that feel that you're behind the bushes or something and looking out and watching them. And, I mean, those are kind of
you
cool
got
shots.
that you were a good distance away. They did do a few of those, but yeah, it's just 4D just because they could have made a little bit more depth out of it, especially with the rolling hills when she was riding her horse or something through the hills.
Yeah.
But the depth or the pop out on it, I would give it a 3D. Just like I said before, swinging of the sword, and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
There was a few times. When was it? Oh, the time when she split that arrow. And they showed the back end of the target, and they showed the arrow going through the target. You were right here. Nothing. It didn't pop out at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and it had stuff spread out that they could have, the backing of the target, that they could have actually made, jump at you a little bit, but they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as for the pop-outs, I'll give it a 3D as well. I mean, there were some... When they did have any, which, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot. I know a lot of people when they think 3Ds, that's all they think of is the old gimmick, old pop-out stuff. I mean, I understand that not all movies are about gimmick pop-outs. That's why we include the depth in it. But, like, one of the better 3D pop-out gimmick that they had was, like, when she shot the arrow during the competition, and the arrow was flying through the air towards the target, which you were just talking about. Mm-hmm. That was a kind of a cool, I mean, it didn't come really out to the screen too much, but you could definitely tell it was not stuck in the TV screen.
Yeah, there was, but along that point, it didn't feel like you could just reach out and touch it.
Yeah.
Type thing, and for us to have a real high rating on pop-outs, I want that thing in my face.
Yeah.
Type of thing. I want to be able to, if I lean forward, I hit it.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And, but, 3D in the homes, really not all that old right at the moment.
Yeah.
They're starting, I mean...
I think they were just coming out with the whole 3D in the movies again around that time, if not just a little bit before.
Yeah. So...
Maybe they just weren't.
That's why I give it a 3D, is because, we still got a long time before, 3D should be,
Yeah, I mean,
bam, smack you in the face type of thing.
I mean, if you wanted to compare this to Gravity, there was no comparison. I mean,
no.
Gravity would win hands down.
Yes. But it was done in 2013?
Yep.
Towards the end of 2013, when Gravity was done. This was 2012.
Yeah. And we don't know exactly what month either. It could have been the very beginning of the year. So.
Yeah, it could have been. But overall, what do you think overall?
Overall, the movie has a great story, and besides for some of the lackluster in the 3D effects, everything else made it great. I mean, the 3D stuff didn't take away anything from the movie. I think it's a 5D rated movie all the way. Since this is a Disney-Pixar film, is this right for all kids? I mean, probably not. This is, excuse me, I think this is probably one of the darker Disney films with the bear aggression and everything like that. I mean, it's probably not for maybe 10 and under, probably, I would guess, just for the fact of how mean and aggressive and dark it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. 10 and under, yeah.
It might be a little scary.
Yeah, it might be a little scary, especially the big dark bear. I mean, the whole actual beginning part of the lore. You get a little bit of it in the beginning, and then you don't quite understand it, but by the time you're done with the end of it, you understand totally what that was and what it was about. And it actually what makes the legend become alive.
Yeah.
For me, the story, the sound and the music and everything coming together and holding my attention throughout the whole movie, it leads me to give it a 5D rating, just because, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everything I would expect from Disney and Pixar.
Yeah.
Couldn't expect anything less from them.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to wait to that day that we get something that we're anticipating from them and it falls flat.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and what's funny is with all the Pixar movies that came out, and you hear sequels all the time, you know, because they had Cars and they came out with Cars 2. You know, they had all the Toy Stories that came out with sequels. I haven't even heard a sequel for this one. And I know, you know, you wonder about sequels.
yeah.
I would almost want, I don't know what they could bring out for another original story. I mean, I wanted to do justice. I just don't want to see another film.
I mean, yeah, because they didn't leave the end on this one open.
Yeah.
It was more of a happy ending,
Yeah.
let's say. There are happy endings. I mean, come on, it's Disney.
Yeah.
Of course, there's happy endings. But, you know, they really didn't leave it open for a whole lot. But I imagine
maybe. Well, I wouldn't say that too much, because they did leave it open where her marriage comes into play. So maybe they'd make another one with.
They could.
Yeah, you
make
never
her
know.
a little older, have her own little child.
Then maybe vice versa, bring it full circle about how she treats her daughter. Maybe.
It could be. Never know.
Yeah.
We can only wait and find out with Disney.
Yeah, definitely.